Good morning. It's been a little while. I was on vacation. Went to Baja California in Mexico with some friends of mine to go look for rattlesnakes. It was awesome. We saw, I don't know how many dozens and dozens of rattlesnakes we saw, if I were to count. But anyway, I'm back in town, a little bit sunburnt, and I have a Western Diamondback in the bucket that I'm taking out to let it go. It's found in a courtyard of a house here in Cave Creek, which is a very common thing. This is the mating season for Diamondbacks. It's one of two. They'll also mate in the spring, but right now there's also a ton of activity and a lot of movement. So you get an adult snake like this, that's probably what it's up to. We are starting the slow movement towards winter. And between now and throughout October into about the second week of November is a period of time called ingress, which is when the rattlesnakes are finishing up their last minute chores, eating up what they can, mating if they need to, and moving, but sometimes large distances to where they're going to spend the winter. So there's a huge increase of encounters. It's similar to April when they're kind of doing the opposite. You might remember in late March and early April is when we're just going nuts driving around town. It's the opposite of this. Everything's waking up. They're hungry right now. Everything is getting ready to go to bed. So there's going to be a flurry of activity. It's going to be in the mid-morning between sunup and about 9:30 or 10 throughout October, and then a large rush between an hour before and 2 hours after sunset. That's when we're going to be busiest with stuff just kind of trickling in through the day. Milder daytime temperatures are going to mean that snakes have a longer run time. It's not lethal to them to be outside. So that's the same reason that we like to be out. If people want to ask, when's the time that snakes are going to be out? It's the same times that you want to be out. Isn't that nice how that works? They die very easily with warm temperatures. And if you watch this page at all, you know that already. But, if it's a nice day and it's 78 degrees and a few clouds out there and you want to go hiking, every rattlesnake's looking outside. You think, oh God, this is great. I can go travel in this. I can go hunting. And that's why you run into them. So fun time of year for us. And I found, this isn't very good. I'm gonna look around a little bit more. So as usual, well, let me back up. The house that I caught this snake at, it's just because of location. I searched the property like we usually do, and there was nothing there that was really going to attract the snake. It was just there because of proximity and those things that I just mentioned about the movements that they're going to make right now. However, we still want to release them to good cover. We're not just trying to find a situation that the snake can be released into that it's going to survive. I mean, that's kind of the bare minimum, right? We want it to be able to survive and continue what it was doing, which is crawling around, trying to eat, trying to meet some girl snakes, and eventually get to its den that it probably knows right where it's at. So we're doing something that I call home range modification, which is a little bit different than relocation. And that's kind of the way I'm looking at this is we're not just picking up the snake and putting it somewhere else. Home range modification is picking up the snake, figuring out its estimated home range, moving it to somewhere else within the estimated home range, and then working with the homeowner to do things to prevent us visits from future snakes. So it makes it a process that makes this sustainable, which is very important. And I just found the spot we're going to release this guy. Look around for other snakes. It's actually surprising there aren't any here. Let me flip this around. Here we go. Nice, well-developed pack rat nest, goes deep. It's up off the edge of the wash. Probably has higher ambient moisture than one you'd find over there, and it's also going to be safe from flooding. This is a spot that a snake could spend the winter. But he's not going to do that. He's going to hang out in here, and then he's going to go off crawling. What we want is for him to feel that he's got a spot that he can come back to if he wants to. And there he is. I have to use my tongs for this because I forgot my hook. I'm halfway unpacked. Not all the way. All right. We'll let him go in there. We want him to go underground too. That was quick. If he goes underground, he knows that this is a good spot to hide. I mean, he just escaped a predator from his perspective. So now that he knows that, here's a spot he can hide out the day, has thermal protection. It's a good spot he can hang out, and he is also able to avoid predators here. This is an important node, and we call it a node because he's not going to stay here. He's going to come and go. But we want him to be able to leave and then retreat to this if he wants to. And the reason that I know that that's what they do is because I've spent the time to follow them. Sometimes I'll release a snake into something like this, set up a camera trap on it to watch what they do after I leave, or just come back and visit and watch what they do. And that's one of the common things that is not represented in any research or literature on relocation at the moment that is present in our information is that if you move an animal to a spot that's right, it will move it into the known spots that it likes. That's part of that home range modification term that I'm going to start throwing around more and more. Actually, a good place that I have seen information on that is not part of literature related to relocation and mitigation of rattlesnakes, but of research into stress response and stress hormones and what happens to snakes when they are put in the stressful situations and move around. And it's shown in some of that, which is really where we get a lot of our procedures from. And the lessons is if you put a snake in the right spot, whether it's known about it before or not, it might just kind of like, this is a good spot. I'm gonna remember this. I'm gonna put a pin on that and come back. So that's what we just did, hopefully, is that snake probably didn't know about that spot. It does know about this area though. So we want the snake to plug back into that, having both a new experience in a good spot that it can use forever and a bad experience at the house where it was captured. And now it has all that stuff, and the way that they handle stress and learn, which rattlesnakes do pretty well, is that the snake's perspective and usage of its own home range has now changed. That's the plan. So it should work. I can't see anything with these glasses on, so I'm going to read some questions. I'm sure there's been some good comments in here. God, I miss doing this stuff. I don't get to run as many calls lately, but our big project that was keeping me busy is over now, so. No questions. All right. Well, I think the first thing I got to do when I unpack, when I get to that, is find my hat and find my snake hook, because I need both of those things. But I still love doing this. This is like it's fun running the business. It's fun doing education and working with captive snakes and doing research and spending time in the wild with them. But this particular thing right here is the best thing. And I got one more month of it, and then you won't be hearing from us for a little while. But we are still going to be posting a lot of pictures. One of the things that you probably noticed that we do is all of our relocation crew, they take photographs of the snakes as they find them at home, so you can start building a contextual awareness of what might be hanging out in your courtyard or backyard. And I don't want to bombard you guys with photos. That's how you get people to leave your page. So they go through this little bottleneck. We post 2 or 3 on this automated scheduling thing that I got. So we have enough photos right now that as it currently stands, things are posted through November. And I got a bunch more to get to. So unlike other years, this year when, just because we've been so busy, when the snakes go to sleep, there's still gonna be a lot of stuff that we're talking about. So that should be fun. And winter is good for us too. It's when we get to sleep in past 5 o'clock in the morning and maybe watch a movie or like cook dinner. Some of the normal things that are hard to do when you're on call all the time. So I love doing this, but yeah, this year winter will be welcome. All right, I'm gonna knock this off. I gotta get to my car and make myself available for the next one and go find my hat. I'll see you later.